So I was out to turn my sprinkler system on for the second time this year. Turned it on earlier to test everything, I don't know, 30 days ago or so, just to make sure everything was working. And it was, and then we started to get cold again and get a bunch of snow, so I shut it back off. So I fired it back up again yesterday, and nothing was working. There was no pressure. Turned it on to let it run for a while to see if I could find out what has exploded. And I did, I found it. I gotta go venture into the unknown here for a second. I'm going down under the deck. So my irrigation line comes out of my house right over here. Comes out over there. There's a clean out kind of down here, but the shutoff and everything is actually inside the wall, about where that kind of board is up against the side. So that runs around down here, a couple valves, boxes and things, another shutoff outside backflow kind of deal. And then we come to this box right here. Now this one, if you can see this goes to a easy flow fertilizer injector that is not here. It was taken with the other owner, but there is a history for me with this thing. I actually sold this tank to the nursery where he bought it 15 years ago, I think was about it, 15 years ago. So this is one of the tanks that I actually provided to them to install. But the easy flow story has another side of it. It'll be kind of interesting to share about. So anyway, I pop open this box because I hear the water. And good for me, look at what blew apart in there. So this was the adaptation for the tank. See how it kind of came off the main line, past the backflow into here. It must have a spur off the line. So I am actually going to cap this thing right here, even though this water did come around to these valves, but I am going to abandon these two stations. And now let me show you why I'm going to abandon those two stations. So crawl back out of here real quick. Let me get back up onto the deck. So I guess while I'm down here, if you take a look and see right here, there's a hose that runs up onto the deck that goes up to water a potted plant out here. But this whole front bed, that is about to get completely torn out. So let me crawl out of here and then I'll show you that. Here's the other side of that thing that I was just showing you from the inside. That feeds this bed here. Now you can see I have this all torn out. I'm slowly breaking this down because this is actually getting all torn off here shortly, and a new staircase is going to be coming down into this section. So I've got to get all this cleared out. And so that valve and that station are not going to be necessary. Now the other one runs up to this line of trees right here, kind of down the property. And that one I've not used. I don't water those trees. I let them just be fairly natural. I think it was a bit overkill to add in what was up there. So I'm gonna terminate those two. And another reason is likely in the very near future. So I'm just starting to regrade this area. I'm gonna be throwing some gravel and some things up here to start to fill it back in since the winter washed off a lot. Get this RV pad kind of put back to where it needs to go. But I am gonna need to regrade this, and at some point I am going to hit that crossover line where it goes through there across this area and need to reset some stuff anyway. So that's the plan. So I need to cap that piece. I need to go find the pieces. So let's go do that. Let's go take a look in the Cave of Wonders and see what we've got back here. Still getting this all cleared out, part of the next construction project. Let's pop in here real quick. Yeah, I wasn't kidding. This is sort of where I, keep a lot of my fun gear and product and parts for my side-by-side, tires, all this kind of stuff. This is the secret cave. And this is the sprinkler part box. So let's grab that. And I'll get a couple gloves here as well. Pull those off the rack. The secret cave. Okay, coming back out. Let's go see what we need here. Now, that coupler and where that Easy Flow connected had a 1-inch pipe on it. So I think with the stuff that I've got kind of laying around in here, I ought to be able to find it. So let's go back in the hole here real quick. Take a look. Those. Ooh. Yeah. Old sprinkler parts. There's a 1-inch. Yeah, 1-inch. I think that is all I'm gonna need, but I'll probably go ahead and cut those lines too. So let me change camera angles and get on this. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of these real quick. So cut that. Pull this out of there. This is part of that Easy Flow tank that was in here. Get this out of here. All right, those go away, and yeah, this cap. There is the part of the Easy Flow. This would have been on the cap that everything's screwed onto. And the adjustability is right here through the venturis. It's just a turn of the knob. Can change these things, but yeah, that's old. That's clearly not doing me any good. I think this one broke. It must have, for him to leave it under here. I don't really spend a whole lot of time under my deck, so I couldn't say. All right, so there's that. Toast. Yep. Get rid of that guy. And it looks to me like I should be able to just glue this bad boy up. It's pretty dry. There's a little bit of water in there. Let's see if I can soak some of that out before I cap this thing. So we'll do that. I always, and I really do mean always, I always get the glue on my fingers or wrist or in some place where there's just amount of hair that you've got to rip out, and I'm just going to try to avoid that today, because that just makes me nuts. Let's see if we got enough water out of there. I think that will do it. Okie dokie. Got our cap here. Got our blue. Get the blue glue going. Gonna do the inside of this by. The outside. Get that all in there nice and thick. And 3, 2, 1. Let's get it done. Squeeze in there for a second. I'll let that sit. You know, I know there's a lot of people that do like the primer and everything else. The Red Hot Blue works fine for me. I've never really had any issues with that. Gets on there easily and it's done. So I'm gonna let that thing sit for a few minutes, and then we'll crawl further back into the cave and fire everything up and see what it looks like. So that'll be the next test. The biggest, most important thing for me right now is, you know, we have had a lot of moisture. There's been a lot of rain, a lot of snow. It's still very cool. Nothing is showing signs of wilt at all. But I am going to be going out of town next week, so I want to have my back sprinklers, the timer on, so that they're actually running while I'm gone, because I think it is going to be warm while I'm gone for a week, and I don't want to have anybody else thinking about it. So that's the plan. Okay, so this is gonna set for a couple of minutes. I'm gonna go back inside, turn the water on, since like I said, it is on the inside of that concrete wall right over there. I'm gonna have to go in there and do that, and then we'll just go test everything out, and then I'll show you what I've done up in the back with my sprinklers up there. Okay, so just ran down, turn that thing back on. So we're gonna come up here and check something. So again, the area that I'm trying to cover off is up here. That's sort of the most important piece right now. So, I believe everything was holding. Go back and look at it in a second, but let's check this out real quick. See if the water comes out. Victory. Wow. Let's do that one more time. I think there's a little bit of back pressure in there. What do you think? Cool. Now, let me show you what I've done here on this thing. So as I stated in another video, this used to hook up to a drip system that ran into some other areas, and I terminated that line here and put a hose bib on it. That's basically what this is right here. Because the plans are to run irrigation even further up the hill, because there's going to be some other lawn sites throughout this area up here. So I wanted to make sure that I had a spot to run through sort of on a main line, and I didn't really know how I was going to set this pattern up or what was going to stay here in this grass. This is our play zone. So now here's what I've done. I set that thing on there. This runs on the timer just like the rest of a regular sprinkler system, and I just take the hoses here, connect to these sprinklers here, well, they don't stay there, and then that waters the lawn. So I'm gonna hook that up, turn it on, see what the pressure looks like, and we'll go from there. Okay, hooked up, firing up. Let's see if that's gonna come right at me. Oh, we got pressure. We got no leaks. We got water. Okie dokie. So, let's just reset that over there. Let's see if I've got it on the right side of the stopping point. Negative. All right. So these little orbits are super easy to adjust. I'm going to turn it around the opposite direction here. Put it that way. I'm going to show you how this thing works. So I'm coming in. Here we go. Getting rained on by the other one. So we're just going to click this thing back on. There we go. Now this is actually how you set its pattern, is here and here. So how to go all the way over here and across this side. So this one's running just fine. It's like that cap's a little loose. Might have to mess with that in a minute. Let's go over to this guy here. All right, all sprinklers are running. Everything's holding. It's all put together well. Timer's set. This thing's gonna start doing this for me now, which is nice. And we're still gonna, like I said, be keeping in pretty cool temperatures. So I'm not really gonna have to give it a ton of water for the next little bit, but that's it. Just had to do a quick fix, test everything out, make sure the lines were pressurized, no other leaks anywhere else, and we're off to the races. I'm ready to leave town. And when I get back, we'll see how everything held up. So that's all I got. I'll talk to you guys real soon.